Welcome to the Grow Strong Leaders podcast. I'm your host, Meredith Bell, and I interview business leaders who are committed to their own growth and the development of everyone on their team. If you enjoy my podcast, be sure to subscribe and rate it on your favorite podcast platform. Welcome back to another episode of the Grow Strong Leaders podcast. I'd like you to think of someone in your life, at work or at home, that you need to have a tough conversation with. Or maybe reflect on a time when you did have one of those conversations and it didn't go as well as you hoped. My guest today is going to provide you with specific ideas that will help those kinds of discussions be more productive and positive for you and the other person. I'm very excited to welcome back to my show, David Wood. Hi, David.
Hello, Meredith. Good to see you again. We go
Well,
back a little ways now.
it has been quite a while. This is David's third appearance on my show, and each time I come away with important new insights, and I know this one will be no different. His earlier episodes were number 100 and number 159, and I encourage you to listen to them too. Each one is unique and just filled with great ideas. David, let me tell my audience a little bit about you for those that have not heard either of those episodes. David left behind a high-powered career as a consulting actuary for Ford, Sony Music, and Chanel, trading Park Avenue boardrooms for a mission to transform lives and businesses. And then he started a coaching business, but not just any coaching business. He built the world's largest coaching business at the time, ranking number one on Google for life coaching, serving 150,000 coaches globally. But David's story is more than just success. It's about resilience. He survived a paraglider collapse and a fractured spine. He's battled anxiety and depression. And most recently, he took on acting in Hollywood. Today, he helps leaders 4 times their clarity and productivity and to love their life. And David is also a pickleball coach. So, David, one of the things that, strikes me about you is how eclectic you are. There's so many different interests that you have had over time. And I'd love to have you share what kinds of lessons have you taken from these recent excursions into acting and coaching pickleball?
Wow. Well, that's a big topic. Um, I don't know if I've been called eclectic before, but it sounds right. What seems to happen, and I'm taking this from the feedback I get from friends and colleagues, is that when there's something I want to explore, I tend to dive in pretty deep.
Mm.
I can be a little bit obsessive, a little bit hyper focused, and I want to go big or go home. And so I will, when I went to Bali, some people made an effort to learn Indonesian, which is for all 10,000 islands. I learned some Indonesian, but then I learned Balinese, which nobody learns because it's really hard and there are no courses on it. And then I found out there were at least 2 different Balinese languages, and I had to learn both. Um, so I created my own course, and the local school was like, "Can you share your course with us?" So when acting came up, I'd been thinking about it for 10 years, and I said, I want to really give it a shot before I die and just find out if I can even act. I'd performed in so many things and done improv, but what about acting? And finally, I moved to Hollywood and I signed up with a school and I kept beating the bushes for an agent and a manager and then got those and then did a couple of feature films. And I said, for a year, this is my priority. And then pickleball, I discovered that and I needed a physical obsession and I was ready to put acting on the back burner. And I said, let's do it. So I train 5 times a week and I want to turn senior pro and do the circuit around the country and doing tournaments. And then I thought, well, I love coaching generally. Let's do coaching. So Within a month, I had 20 students in a boot camp that I designed. So I just tend to dive in and go deep, and we're going to hear about the deep dive on this WhisperLead app that I'm working on. The lessons, I wish I had like some real obvious wisdom. I would share the question I'm often asking is how can I go faster? Is there a more efficient way to do this? How do I go fast? When I was wanting to appear on podcasts, I cloned the iTunes database and wrote code that would help it match me with people. I'd put in Meredith Bell and it would find podcasts that you've been on that I might want to approach and go through all the people who've been on your show and find out if they had a podcast. So it looked for points of connection. I'm such a nerd when it comes to data. So I dive in and then I did 400 appearances on podcasts over 3 or 4 years. So the question is how can it be more efficient? How do we go faster? And I'm about to apply that now to WhisperLead, because why not? It's my whole coaching practice is about helping my clients. What do you really want? How can you get there faster? Well, how about you get there in 6 months versus 2 or 3 years? Because that's fun for me.
Great. And one of the things you used to have a podcast yourself around our key topic that's our focus today on tough communications. And you've learned so much about that. So when I think about the context of helping clients go faster, one of the areas is dealing with conflict, right? And helping them learn how to not expend a lot of energy worrying or handling things badly. And so I would love for you, let's talk about these areas where leaders can get into trouble when they are struggling with these tough conversations, either preparing for them or not even preparing, just jumping into them
Yeah.
without adequate mental and emotional preparation. Let's look at some of the pitfalls that happen.
I love that question. And before we do it, if it's okay, I'd like to talk about why we might even care about this. Because, when I hear about tough conversations training, I think about going to the dentist. I'm like, it's something maybe is good for me, but I don't really want to do it until I've got a looming tough conversation and I'm losing sleep on it. And it may not even occur as a tough conversation. It just occurs I have a problem with this person. And unfortunately, we weren't trained, most of us, growing up in how to have an open, candid conversation when there's emotional charge involved, how to handle the other person's charge, how to handle our own, how to navigate through it to harmony and peace and maybe get something that we want, which might be them changing their behavior or a promotion or the dogs to stop barking next door. So what often happens is we just stay silent. We don't even know we're doing it. We just put up with stuff. We might complain to our friends and colleagues, but the brain doesn't even say, you know what? I really need to sit down and have a chat. Not until it gets pretty bad.
Mm.
And then it's like, how do I do it? And if you don't do it well, you can really step on a landmine and you can make it worse. Right? That's why we talk about this. So I will go through some of the pitfalls in having a tough conversation. And if you and then naturally we'll cover how to do it instead. And I want to give all your listeners beta access to WhisperLead, which is the app I've developed to train us in having conversations. And instead of a boring course that you do, you will get to practice with the AI a scenario that you've got coming up, or it'll give you a scenario. You can practice and it will tell you, whoops, hang on, try this now. Try asking open-ended questions or try validating their emotions first. It's awesome. It catches me. and says, this is what you did well, and this is what you could do better. So I want to, by the end of the call, I want to give all your listeners free beta access to it so they can go and play with it, practice tough conversations, and then they'll get on the notification list for when it can actually, with consent, sit on your shoulder and listen in on your meetings and your work calls and detect when there's conflict and go, hey, looks like this is getting a little chargy. Try this. It's like Cyrano whispering in your ear, which is why I call it WhisperLead, because it's for leaders. So there's a long way of getting to say, yes, I'll answer your question about the pitfalls.
So what would be the first one that you would mention that can get people
Okay.
into trouble?
Yeah. Well, I've numbered them from one to five, I think. Um, and we don't have to cover all of them, right? In fact, maybe we won't. We'll leave a little bit of mystery. But but the one I hadn't even listed here, the biggest pitfall is not even realizing there's a conversation to be had. Not even realizing I could talk to so and so about this and it might go well, right? So let's call that zero. But then the one that I have for number one is not framing it. So just saying we need to talk, you say that to me, I'm probably on the back foot already. I'm not expecting you're going to talk about how great I am. I'm already thinking there's trouble. So let's not do that. We want to frame it. And I think a couple of things that could be in the frame of how you set it up is a positive intent that includes both of us and the idea that we're going to work it out together. So let's suppose your boss is, I want to use the neighbor and barking dogs because that's alive for me right now. And it's very chargy and she yelled at me last time. But let's use a corporate example. Suppose your boss is consistently late to meetings and you feel like it's impacting the team and other people are starting to be late. Well, what do you want? What's the intent that includes your boss? And my intent might be, I want team morale to be high and I want people to be really on it in their commitments, like showing up to meetings, but also deliverables. I want to increase team accountability and I want to talk to you and work out together how we can do it. I have a particular issue in mind, but can we chat for 10 minutes about this and we'll work out together how to handle it? So I've got a positive intent that my boss can probably get behind, includes him because he wants that. And I've said, let's work out together how to do it. I've you say that to me, I'm much more likely to look forward to the conversation. It's like, oh, we're together in this rather you versus me. A way not to do it would be, we need to talk, or this is okay to say, I'd like to get something off my chest and, be able to be more relaxed, uh, in our relating. That's fine. That's better than no context, but that's all about me. Better is something that has the both of us included, like let's get on the same page. Or I want to have a really good working relationship with you. And I feel like there's a couple of things that are holding me back from that. And I'd like to work it out with you and work out together how it can be better.
What I really like about all those phrases is it does have carry that positive intent. There's no sense of blame or accusation in them. And so to me, it would help the other person relax and definitely be open to having that conversation versus getting the feeling, uh-oh, they're going to lay something on me or I need to get defensive. In other words,
Mm.
a defensive stance before you even get started.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. And you're on the back foot and they're ready to be triggered and they're ready to be defensive. But if you come with let's work this out together. You might even say, I don't know, have an exact request or know exactly what the solution is, but I want to talk to you about it and see what we can come up with. Right? It's not like I'm sandbagging you.
Yeah.
Okay, number two, and I split this into A and B, but the general pitfall is not realizing there are two completely different worlds here.
Mm.
A friend of mine used to teach a course called Getting Her World, and it was for guys who were dating. I never knew what that meant, getting her world, but he did. He was coming from the frame that I got my world and the way I experience life. She's got her world. We might have some shared reality, but like this is a table and you and I are on a Zoom call and it's going to go to a podcast. Like we have some shared reality, but we have some other stuff that is not shared about how that meeting went last week or about what your goal might be in this call or what my goal might be. And if we go in to talk to our boss about her being late to meetings, um, a big pitfall is not realizing or even caring about what might be going on for her. What's her world? And getting that my world could be totally different. My world could be she's late to every meeting. Her world could be she's on time. 5 minutes is really nothing and it's awesome for her. So we got to get that there are two different worlds and and we want to understand each other's world. And those are two separate things. So I'm going to split them into A and B. So let's say pitfall 2A is not even trying to get their world. So it might be launching into, hey, I'm feeling a bit upset about you being consistently late at meetings, and I think it's impacting team morale. All right, that's a pitfall. I revealed my world, so that's good. We'll get to that in a little bit, but we want to check in and understand how is it for them. So, I might say, here's the issue for me, and I want to understand what's going on for you first. If you want to go first, or I can go first, the key is you've got to take turns. You've got to manage traffic control. Do not be trying to both do it at the same time. So, as a leader, you want to set this up you know, um, do you want to go first? I imagine you might be like crazy busy and just getting to the meeting, even with 5 or 10 minutes late, might feel on time for you. Is there anything you want to say first, or do you want me to go first? And if they want to go first, they can tell you about their kid that's sick and the pressures from whatever. And, they're the boss, doesn't seem like a big deal, but you get to really find out what's going. So we bring curiosity um, and we understand each other's world. By the way, there's an acronym for this that Jason Gore came up with called CUBE, CUBE.
Mm.
So this'll I'm kind of running you through this if you want to listeners, you want to track. The first one was, the framing. We call that context. We set up the context and objectives and we frame it. That's the C in cube, CUBE. And the one we're on now is understand each other's worlds. That's the U in cube. And we've covered not, the pitfall of not even caring or inquiring about their world. I made this mistake in a role play I did with WhisperLead when I wanted to ask my landlord for permission to advertise for a tenant. And I had been told 3 times I could not do it. And I did this role play and I did a great job of sharing my world. I did a great job of revealing the impact and all of this. And I got what I wanted in the role play, but in the report it generated, it said, you didn't check in to see what it might be like for her because it's actually the agent and she's got to deal with the landlord. Maybe this is annoying having people ask her about, stupid stuff like this. Maybe it's easy for her to go back to the landlord. Maybe it's hard. I didn't even ask. I wasn't interested in her world. So that would be pitfall 2B. And I want to slow down and give you a chance to comment on that before I go to pitfall 2A.
You're talking about now
Oh, sorry. We
the
did
other,
2A and I'm going to go to 2B.
yeah. So yeah, the other person's world. I think that is something we all are guilty of at times because too often, because we haven't learned how to address conflict or difficult situations in a healthy way, we build up this resentment or frustration or some kind of negative emotion, and that's what we're focused on when we're coming to the table. And so this idea of slowing down to consider what might be going on with this other person
Yeah.
and being curious, I think is so critical because it helps us shift and realize there is another perspective. I like your use of the word world, as in understanding where they're coming from, because there's always that other perspective that we have not considered. We don't know at
Yeah.
that point, and it's
Yeah.
really important to find out.
It's a blind spot for a lot of us. Um, Not for some people. For some people, they have the opposite problem that they're always concerned about the other person's world and they don't think a lot about what they want or what they need.
Mm,
But for a lot of us, and I'm one of them, my default is my world. This is my world. How do we fix it? I got a problem here. I have a request. Okay, that's not wrong. It's good as a leader to be able to do that versus complaint. But what could be going on for them? And when we make this shift before we go and ask for the conversation, I find it so much more peaceful. It's not me versus them. It's like, let's work it out together. And I honestly want to understand. I had a friend send me a message recently that said, "Hey, I just want to let you know I've invited your ex-girlfriend to the party coming up, and I've invited her new boyfriend." And I didn't even know she was dating. And she said, and I just wanted to, check how that is for you, if you're fine with that. Well, that didn't go over very well with me. I I was okay with my ex being there, but I'm like seeing her new boyfriend there. I'm like, I don't think I can come. And so I was pretty disappointed and upset that she would make the decision without checking with me first because we were really close. She doesn't even know this new boyfriend. And so it was very interesting having a tough conversation. I was upset, I was charged, and I fell into this pitfall. I shared my world and all the impact because she asked, but I didn't even stop to consider what would it be like for her feeling caught between two friends, me and my ex, who I love, by the way. We have a great relationship. Caught between the two of us, wanting to honor her by including her. There was a whole bunch about her world I didn't even consider. So this is a big one. Pitfall 2B is not revealing your own. Now, I'm not so concerned about this because a lot of people will default to sharing their own world, but you're probably not sharing the vulnerability. So, you know, if this is an edgy conversation for you, it's okay to say, by the way, I'm a little bit nervous sharing it because I want this to go well, and I'm worried you might feel defensive or something like that. But I still want to have the conversation because I think it could be great for both of us. It's okay to do that. It's okay to reveal your world, and the other person might have compassion and go, "Oh, okay, I get it. Well, tell me what you got." If you're really impacted, say your boss being late, you might be stressed because you're monitoring time. You want everyone to get there on time. The boss is modeling being late, and you're my boss. And so bringing this up to you is kind of edgy. I want to do it artfully and delicately. I think it's great to have a little bit of transparency. So understanding each other's worlds is yes, I want to be curious about your world, but also with consent, can I share a bit about my world and how it's been for me? I love this dividing it up. We just take turns. I'm going to get your world and then you get mine. Or I'll go first. Here's my world. Now tell me yours. How are you seeing this? Even what's coming up for you as you hear it? Is this uncomfortable? Is it inspiring? Is it annoying? In the moment, we might want to get their world. How's this conversation for you? That's a bit, I think that's a bit advanced, getting to the present moment with people. And how sad is it in our world that dealing with the present moment and what's happening in real time right now, I consider advanced. But
David,
that's pitfall number two.
yeah, this whole thing of being open with the other person and being willing to acknowledge discomfort in the moment or feeling nervous or whatever it is, I think that shared humanity really draws people in to our world much more than trying to look like you have it all together. There's
Right.
just that humanness there that, yeah, draws someone else to us rather than repelling them.
I just had this big exhale as you said it. My whole body relaxed because I realized, the quote I like is we bond over our imperfections, not our perfections. And this is my life's work, is to be real with people as much as possible so we can be truly seen and be truly connected and have actual intimacy. And that's the work that I bring to my friends, to my business owners, clients, to my exec clients. They don't know that when they start working with me, but
Mhm.
I'm an evangelist for let's be more and more real. We'll do it artfully and we'll do it with dignity as leaders. But Brene Brown, I think, is showing us with data that vulnerability is the new strength.
Mhm.
And we people will follow you, I think, much more likely if they get the real you rather than posturing. So this is dignity and being authentic, which can include vulnerability versus pretense or posturing, which is very tempting. And we're going to
Yeah.
do it. We're going to do it every day, and that's all right. But can we catch it and come back to dignity?
The other thing you were talking about being advanced and being fully present, it just brought back a scene recently with a family member where we were in a conversation and I made some remark. And we weren't having one of these difficult conversations or anything. It was just one of these things where I made a remark and he gave me a look. And I noticed this look that caused me to pause and say, that's an interesting reaction you just had. Tell me more about what was going on. And it opened up a conversation about some things that I wasn't aware of. And so
Yeah.
it's this whole thing of noticing these little nonverbals as well as what somebody says so that we can be curious, not defensive, and kind of invite them to tell us more about what's going on with you
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, you're speaking about this is a whole other topic, and if you want, we could do a total another episode on present moment relating. There's a model called the three levels of relating, and the third deepest one for the most intimacy is this moment. And your friend modeled it with you. We're not talking about the past or this morning or what we're trying to fix. It was like that was an interesting look. What just happened? Wow. Now I'm curious about your world right now. You get a chance to check in and realize what's happening right now. You share it. And if I'm present, I can be monitoring my body for what happens as you speak. And I might have impact from that. I might feel some excitement or sadness. And if I share that in the moment, there might be impact on you. So we're ping-ponging back and forth in reality rather than billiard balls bouncing off each other as humans, which is what we tend to do. But I do consider that particularly advanced because we got so many defense mechanisms and we haven't been trained how to do it. There's a company called Authentic Relating Training. If you search Authentic Relating Training, um, they do wonderful 2-day courses that you can do on Zoom, and they go into these things. I slip them all into my clients as we go, right? They don't know, they don't expect it, but we will cover it because what's happening with your kid and what's happening with your boss and how do we actually get more influence, right? All leaders want more influence. Well, this will get you feeling good and build relationships and also get you way more influence as you learn these skills. So the tough conversations training I'm talking about and practicing with WhisperLead, I just realized it's not going to just help you when there's conflict. It's going to help you when you actually want to influence. I call it whisper lead, not whisper conflict, because it's really about how to lead a conversation when there could be charge and it could
Mhm.
be tough.
Yeah, there's so many opportunities for us to connect with other people in a meaningful way that sometimes we just totally miss because we aren't aware of the possibilities. One of the other things related to a pitfall seems to me that we can go into these conversations with our idea of how the thing should be solved. In other words, what the solution is. And as opposed to being open to considering different options. Do you see that
Yes,
happening often?
I do. What a great segue into pitfall three. Um, I had a model. I created a model for tough conversations that I really liked, and I was using it for some time. And then when I found Cube, which my friend Jason Gore created, I had to say it was better. It was better than my model. My model would be work out what I want to have happen and make a request. And I got that from Landmark Education, which is incredible leadership training. Make a request instead of a complaint. You know, people would be sitting in the course complaining to the leader, and the leader would say, "Got it. Do you have a request?" Put it on them. Great leadership move to have them lead more. What do you want? How can we both win here? So that's a step up from complaint, right? What's my request? So I'm not saying don't use it, but Jason's model was better. So a pitfall is to think that you know what should happen
Mm,
and just assume that, if you're, like you ask your boss uh, to be on time or 5 minutes early to model it for everybody else in the meeting. Okay, that's great. I got no beef with that. But better could be let's brainstorm solutions. Now, I will say if it's a simple matter, maybe you don't need to do brainstorm solutions. Maybe it's as simple as, okay, I got it. I'll be on time. But but with more complex things, I just like it because we're going to work it out together. So instead of here's my request, would you do this? Better is I don't know what the answer is. I mean, I got one idea, but how can we handle this? Because I think it's impacting team morale. Okay, boss might be like, all right, I'll get there on time. You might be like, okay, what about 5 minutes early? For the next 4 meetings, to set an example. What about we maybe we need to push the meeting back 30 minutes because the boss is coming from something picking up his kid and the meeting time doesn't work, right? Jason's got this great plot graph got up where you show my request is here. It's got a certain uh, benefit. And then, but if we brainstorm, we might brainstorm all sorts of things, and we might get to something that's of higher benefit. And also, my request is oriented towards maximizing the benefit for me. So it may not be the best one for you. So this brainstorm brings us into collaboration. Let's work it out together, even if it's an obvious solution. And you might come up with something you never thought of. So that's the pitfall, figuring you know how to do it, and you're going to um, get the person to do that. It's not bad, it's not wrong, but there's another way that I think can be better. And if you're in a meeting, if you got like 5 or 6 people involved in this, and you've got the time, then this is definitely, I think, better. Well, if you don't have the time, you make a request. Can everyone do that? Right? That's great. But for more complex things and we need everybody on board, all right, solutions, go. Nothing too crazy. Brainstorm, everyone knows how to do that, right? Don't dismiss anything. Put even the stupid stuff up there. All right, I'll put your stupid comment on the board, but don't say that. So that's
Oh,
pitfall 3.
so that B in cube, the brainstorming is the B.
Yeah.
And so what's the E?
I'm going to leave a little bit to mystery. I'm going to
Okay.
leave a little bit to mystery. I think, if you set context, you frame it well, you understand each other's world, um, and you brainstorm some solutions, I think you'll be doing really, really well.
Okay.
And again, I encourage you to practice this stuff. And people are probably thinking, well, yeah, well, I don't have a tough conversation coming up. Just scan through the people in your life, maybe the people at work, for anything that's bugging you. It's not hard. It's like, oh, this person's late. This person kind of makes comments in meetings that I feel like are putting me down, right? Just scan for anything edgy that might be edgy for you to share with someone or to bring up with someone. You don't have to have the conversation, but go to whisperlead.com and try the beta version and practice it. And you'll learn so much about yourself and learn so much about how to have that conversation. And then you might get the report from the AI and go, let me do that again. Let me go again. I'm gonna try that. And this time you're really checking in with their world. Or maybe the AI caught you in overpromising or collapsing too soon instead of holding your position. So you get some information. And at the end of that, you might be like, you know what? I'm going to go and talk to Jane about this. I've got it in the bag. It's obvious when you got someone to fire. Okay, I got a tough conversation. Sure, go and role play that. But I bet you've got performance issues with your team. Go and role play that. Practice it. Get the coaching. I think I'm very excited. Before you had to take a course in it generally, and it's pretty hard to practice it.
Mhm.
But now you can just at your fingertips go and practice and get customized training for you. I can't be more excited about AI in general and about using AI to bring us closer together and be more intimate. And that's what WhisperLead is designed to do.
Mhm. Yeah. So Whisper Lead, what was behind the development of it? You sort of alluded to it, but what caused you to say this, I need to create this?
Um, Knowing how difficult tough conversations are to manage and how much we avoid it, but also that conflict is coming up all the time. Um, I knew I wanted to do something in the AI space and I wanted to do something around coding and app creation. And I asked the AI to search the market and see where there was a gap in supporting people in conversations. And it
Hmm.
said conflict resolution. It said there was a gap there. And I'm like, oh my God, that's my area. Tough conversations and handling that stuff is my area. I am sold. And so I'm fascinated generally by the idea of an AI being able to track my communication in general and help me. That's just the general theme. Track my communication and provide assistance and spot stuff I'm not going to miss. And like this is a classic example. So right now, for beta testing, you can go and do a role play. And I created the role plays so that we could practice it and see how the coaching works. And it's working. It's great. I'm like, this is a standalone app is gold to be able to just practice and train. Um, Either just generally I want to get better or for something that I've got coming up. But if you go to the beta version, you'll be on the notification list for when this can, with consent, track your work conversations and track your work meetings with, again, with consent and provide you with advice and leadership prompts. Hey, try validating their emotions here. Or even, you know, Bill seems a little tense in this meeting. Uh, Try this for the meeting to get it back on track. I get so excited by data and communication. You bring the two together. I'm so happy.
Well, I think it has such a powerful potential. I'm excited to see how this evolves because I think real time is when we need this kind of
Right.
input for us. And
Sitting on our shoulder. So right,
yeah,
sitting on our
yeah.
shoulder going, whoa, hang on.
Mhm. So would this be a situation where somebody is in like a Zoom meeting? How would this work in a
Yeah.
real person meeting? Is somebody looking at their phone to see the prompt, or how does that work?
Yeah, what's next is you go to the app and you say, I want to call so and so. And you let people know on your team you're using a AI app to take notes and provide advice and training, right? And it makes the call, puts you together, and then you see on the phone, you see a streaming transcription of the call, and there'll be a prompt that comes up or like a pop-up that says, hey, try this.
Hmm.
That's what's next. And then in Zoom meetings or Microsoft Teams or anything like that, it will track the meeting and provide a prompt on your screen to say, hey, it looks like this is happening. Try this. Ultimately, it could say, Bill's been really quiet this whole time. And there was a comment earlier. Maybe just check in on how Bill's doing. So just incredible in the moment leadership training. But
Hmm.
I'm starting with conflict resolution because that's where I think there's a gap in the market, and then there's a lot of potential from there. I want to cover all the leadership skills, but we'll start with it'll pop up when it detects conflict, and it'll just be silent otherwise.
Great. Well, David, tell folks again the website they can go to and also how they can connect with you, learn more about you and your work.
Thank you. Yeah. So to test out the AI role playing right now and get on the notification list when it can actually listen in real time to your meetings and your calls, go to whisperlead.com and click on the beta button. Um, and you can play right now. It's free. So go and enjoy it. Oh, what I want you to know, and there'll be a notification there, is don't use real names right now. The reason I'm offering it for free is because I need to see what it's doing and I need to see if it's going off the rails with the prompts. So just, use fake names in your stuff because that data will be used for research and improvement right now. When we've actually got the app, it'll probably be different. It'll probably need to be confidentiality, or we'll give a price reduction if you're happy to share, the transcripts. So whisperlead.com, really easy. Go and play with it while it's free. And then if you're interested in connecting with me, I've got a lot of free information at focus.ceo. It's not .com. I got the CEO domain. But I coach a lot of executives who and leaders who have so many varied goals. Sometimes it's work-life balance, sometimes it's influence, sometimes it's empowering and coaching their team, motivating, accountability. Sometimes it's hiring. I've been at this for 25 years. If you are interested in having a coach to be a higher performer than you are now and perhaps get to your goals a lot faster than you normally would, I like doing that kind of stuff. I'm happy to work with you. There's a quiz or assessment that's geared towards business owners, but it'll work for executives too, because it'll tell help you get clear on what you want to achieve and what's in your way. And I'll give you the link for that. And then if you want to continue and have a 15-minute call with me to see if coaching might be a fit for you, if it might help you, and if we'd be a fit, you can do that too at the same link and gets you right on my calendar. And hey, sometimes we're in those calls and it's like, no, I don't think you need coaching or I'm not the coach for you. And sometimes it's like, oh, hell yeah, let's set this up and you'll leave with a coaching structure. So you can go and check that out at focus.ceo/quiz.
Great. And we'll
Focus.ceo/quiz.
Yes, and we'll put all those links on your show notes page too, so people will be able to go there to find it. David, I just loved this conversation like I did all of our other ones in the past. I just love how your mind works, how you are always creating and exploring, and I love your curiosity and combined with action, this putting together this app, creating solutions that really help in the present moment with real people. It's not hypothetical, it's all real. So I want to acknowledge you and thank you for being a part of my world and being a part of this podcast to bring that value to my audience.
Thank you so much. And one thing I forgot to say that I also want to offer your listeners, if you're interested in leadership coaching and high performance coaching, I used to just charge a flat fee of $2,000 a month. And if you're earning over $250,000, that's kind of a no-brainer to increase your performance. But some people aren't earning that amount. And so, it may not be appropriate for you to pay that fee. So if you mention in the notes Meredith and sliding scale, I'm happy for us to work out a fee that'd be more a fit for whatever your salary is, so that it's actually, affordable and gives you a good ROI. Wanted to add that in.
Okay. Thank you so much, David. Look forward to hearing about the next iteration of your AI coaching.
Thank you, Meredith. A pleasure as always.
Thanks for tuning into my podcast. Now head over to growstrongleaders.com and check out the powerful tools we've created to help leaders strengthen their character and communication skills. Until next time, I'm Meredith Bell.